Right, we're going to cover dynamic 60 seconds maximum because that's where I work, that's what we do, it's relevant to you, I promise. We'll do Scaffold ETH2, the Hacker Edition. We've integrated a lot of things which have bounties this weekend, and they're also amazing technologies. We did it with Limon and the team, so super cool. And then I'll give you some support and ideas. What we'll do along the way is cover how to do it with Base as well. I'll be super brief, very practical, because you can do this all on your own, but I'm going to give you the overview, okay? I'm Matt, I do DevRel at Dynamic. I also go by Snufkin. I don't know if anyone knows. I found this super cool because Snufkin is, here we go, one of the characters for the Moomins. I just looked up this description today. He's a philosophical vagabond. So if anyone else identifies as a philosophical vagabond, welcome. Our mission at Dynamic is to make sure that we live in a wallet-based world. Doesn't mean everyone has to have an EOA, doesn't mean it has to be embedded. Account abstraction can be native, can be what we have at the moment. Doesn't really matter. The fact is that wallets do a lot of cool stuff, and part of your identity will probably involve a wallet at some stage. So we need to help everyone get there in the real world. So whatever we build today and at the weekend, our job is to bring that to the real world. Okay, so what we're going to do is take a look at what we're working with this weekend. So you probably have some projects in mind, but if you don't, you need somewhere to start. And we did London, we did a few others. The hardest thing to get going with is stuff like chain abstraction, account abstraction, and pretty much all the abstractions. Abstract away whatever you want. But it's not so easy to get going. So what we built over the last few days was the Hackathon Starter Kit, and it integrates some of this stuff. Let's zoom in. These all happen to be, again, providers and sponsors of ETH Global, but they're also really, really cool technologies. This is based on Scaffold ETH2, so the easiest way of installing it is pretty much, let's go over to the terminal. Zoom. And it would be npx create dynamic app. Just like this. It's going to ask you for a few options. You have other options. If you want to get a React Native starter, feel free, but we're going Scaffold ETH. And I've done this a million times before. It's going to clone the project for you locally and delete the remote URL. So as soon as that happens, you're good to go. It shouldn't take long. This internet's a bit iffy. From that point, you can follow the Scaffold ETH documentation. It's pretty much yarn chain, yarn start. You have a front end and you have a local hard hat network. As soon as you do that and you start it, you'll see something like this. You're already up and running, and you already have dynamic. Let's try this. So I was going to do an embedded wallet, but it might be easier to do MetaMask here if it's slow. Okay. Let's zoom in. Better? Cool. So what we have at the moment is because you have the local hard hat network running, thanks to Scaffold ETH, you can switch to it right here, and you're immediately connected. You just signed up with an actual wallet using your MetaMask. Now you can use a local faucet. You can check. You can see I have ETH. You can test signing a message. All of this is in the code. You can test sending ETH to yourself. All of this is in the code. You just copy and paste, boilerplate. It shows you how to use it. The onboarding is handled by Dynamic, and then there's Veeam and WAGMI in the background to do this kind of stuff. This is really cool. Something else I wanted to show you, there's a lot of, here we have, let's say, things like Polygon and Arbitrum, and some of the things they've released are how to do your own chain. So Orbit is one example. I think the Polygon CDK is another example. Over the weekend, you might be able to get a chain running in 10, 15 minutes. That's at least what I did with Arbitrum. And so I have it running over here in localhost. Doesn't take much, or rather Docker. You don't need to worry about this. It's just to say they give you a setup script, everything else. All you need to do, if you go here, hopefully better, in packages, next app, and there will be, in fact, in lib, a networks tab. And this is where we host all of the networks which you want to connect to. So there's documentation for all of this, but let's say you're looking at, oh, I want to do something with Scroll, or I want to add rootstock. All you do is go check their credentials on Chainlist, plug them in as we've done here in this file, and when you go back to your UI, there they are. So I've connected pretty much all of them already, which are present in ETH Global, but you just switch to them and off you go. You can test using those networks. Now this is a new one called Into Orbit. Let's switch to it. This is our local chain. So if you develop an app chain, if you use Polygon, Arbitrum, whatever else, you can plug in a local chain here and immediately start testing it. You can send ETH to yourself. I'll do that here. And it gives you a local block explorer as well, which happens to run on Block Scout, which is also a provider for this weekend. And you can see in your transactions that you've done a local coin transfer. So all of this you can do immediately. Okay, last three things I'm going to show you because this is very relevant for what you're going to be building. If we, let's say, move back to, let's go for maybe Base, Sepolia. So here, if you wanted to integrate Base Smart Wallet, all you need to do is turn off the Base extension if you already have it to trigger that, log out again, and log in, choose Base, and it's going to give you a Coinbase Smart Wallet. Simple as that. And then you can use all of the functionality that Carl showed you. There's this really interesting tab called Smart Wallet. Here it lets you deploy a safe account. So you can add AA pretty much instantly. You need to be on Base Sepolia. It'll prompt you to switch. If not, I've deployed it here. And we already have some USDC because I topped it up, but you can just fund it from the faucet. So now you have an AA layer on top. All of the code, thanks to these lads, just lives in here, in Safe, in Page. And you can see, for example, oh, here's how to do an ERC20 transfer. Here is how to do a refresh of the transactions and pull them from Block Scout. And here is how to do a cross-chain transfer. This one is super cool. So if you want to choose a cross-chain transfer, I'm just going to do it for myself. It goes from, I think, Base Sepolia to Arbitrum Sepolia. Right here, let's send it. There's going to be some approvals involved. Some improvements you could make are to batch up these improvements. Signatures, or user ops. I'm going to sign a few of them here. And if you always open up console, it's going to show you what's going on behind the scenes. So you'll see, wow, that's fun. You'll see some approval hashes. You can go look for them in the code and kind of go line by line what's actually happening. And from that point on, we'll get another signature, and we should be almost done. You can see already the balance. And as long as the internet is happy with us, you will be able to go to the Transactions tab. You can see 0 minutes ago, we're pulling this from Block Scout. If you go over here, here's your Block Scout with the transaction details. So you now have AA up and running, cross-chain up and running, and Pimlico is used as a paymaster. So all you need to do is sign up for Pimlico. You don't need a policy because by default they already sponsor testnet transactions. So all you need is the API key and it's all up and running. Okay, that's pretty much what I wanted to show you for now. Again, Base, super cool if you just want to use the network. If you want to integrate their smart wallet, over here, I've already put a default dynamic environment ID in, but there you go. This is what the dynamic dashboard looks like. So if you want to sign up and replace it with your own ID, all you need to do is go to Chains and Networks, EVM, enable Ethereum, enable Sepolia, and then whatever else we have here. If we don't have it here, you put it in that networks file. As long as Base is enabled, you're good to go. It's smart wallet compatible and everything else on top. In embedded wallets, you can turn this on and automatically create it when someone puts in an email. Choose not to show the confirmation if it's easier. And if you need no MFA, that is no signing with passkeys or anything else, just let me know and we'll enable it for you behind the scenes. So you don't have to deal with like one-time code or a passkey, because if you want to do batch transactions or multiple approvals, you might not want the user to be like this, especially for cross-chain and all those other use cases. You can just straight up do it. That is a huge trust assumption, however. So technically, please don't. But in the hackathon, if that's what you need for your use case, feel free to give it a try. You can also choose what kind of login and sign up you want to enable. If you want to use EOA login, if you want to do multi-wallet, if you want to, let me show you here. There you go. If you want to be able to connect through things like Farcaster, Google, everything else, whatever wallets you want. And if you want an example of actually a customer of Dynamic who did something really unique, here on Magic Eden, you can see they implemented tabs for complete cross-chain use cases. You can log in on any chain with the Magic Eden wallet or anything else. And that's dynamic in a nutshell. Right. Yeah. Go give people a wallet. Me, most of all, because I'm going to be using whatever you built. So please. Okay. Good luck.